They are blowing leaves outside. And, I sure hope that's not coming through on the recording. Do I have... Oh, I need more torches. Just give me a whole stack and... Yeah, fine. I could go back down into this cave. But I noticed off in this direction there's another cave, I think. So I'm gonna try to explore... Yeah, I'm gonna try to explore this cave instead today. I don't know if it's gonna be any cooler, but, you know. Or cool at all, even, for that matter. We'll see. It's fine. It's fine. So, topic 1. I was sick for like 4 weeks. It's frustrating, because I had like 3 weeks worth of video backed up. And I was like, I should be able to get over any sickness in like 2 weeks and still have an extra week to be able to record something new. And then I got sick, and freaking sudden thunderstorm, jeez. How do I want to get over there? Do this. And it was mostly my fault as well. When I got sick, it was an infection that started with the eyes and then spread to the throat and then spread to the ears, or to the sinuses and the ears. It was an entire thing. It was but anyway. And so I couldn't... It might have been actually 2 illnesses back to back, but I'm not 100% sure about that, so I'm not going to continue to comment on that. But yeah, and it was like it took forever for me to recover. I was not recovering very well whatsoever. And I'm having deja vu as I say this. Anyway. Oh, nothing interesting over here. Aha! And... yeah, it took me forever to recover, and I was like, there got to a point where I was like, I'm not going to be able to record a video in time. And by the time... I mean, I was recovered basically a day or 2 before that video, the satisfying Cleaning Sculk video, came out. But, of course, I didn't really... But I had to catch up on... I mean, I'm recording this the day before it goes up. I'm recording this the Monday before the Tuesday this goes up. Because I had, like, chores to catch up on and stuff after being sick for 4 weeks. That was not very fun, but, you know, I'm back and I should be able to... there will be an ECC next week, or maybe something else, and then an ECC, depending on how I'm feeling, really, but... Whatever... Something dropped an iron? Something dropped an iron ingot? What? Alright, this is new Minecraft. But... yeah, whatever. It'll be it's not... I won't have 2... I promise I will not have 2 of these, rambles in a row or anything like that. Because that's the good thing about rambles, is that it has the protection time of, like... I can record a video at noon and have it edited to release at 4... rambles at noon, and have it edited to release at 4 if I really have to, 4 PM Eastern, if I really have to. Right, what the hell's going on with this creeper? Alright. And I mean, that's how ECC is designed. And I mean, I hate... or not ECC, freaking Rambles is designed, and I hate editing. it's like the one part of this that, like, if I could afford to pay someone else to do it, I would, but I can't, so I don't. Yeah, I hate editing, and so Rambles is designed to be basically minimal editing as possible. I have to watch it back and do all the chapters and stuff, and make sure that, like, if I take a sip of beverage, that gets cut out. But otherwise, it's not a big deal. But anyway. Combat is a lot more difficult to ramble at in the newer versions of Minecraft. Because you can just, like, spam your sword at it and not think about it while you're rambling, whereas modern Minecraft is, like, gotta think about timing your hits and stuff. I think I said everything I want to say about video scheduling and being sick. Oh, I did want to talk about satisfying clearing Sculk from Minecraft Cave or whatever. That is my best performing short so far on this channel, unsurprisingly, to be honest. It is also the videos. It's doing, I guess, fine. It's not doing as well as I hoped it would, but I guess that type of content is more shorts kind of content nowadays anyway. I don't know. I'm not really into the trends and stuff. I saw I lost subscribers over the video, and I'm like, come on. I told you I'm sick. I'm putting in no effort. And, I mean, ultimately, it's a good business decision. Like, yes, I also don't, like, it's obviously clickbait, keyword spam crap, but simultaneously, sometimes you gotta do stuff that you're not particularly happy with, and if I can use being sick as an excuse to do that as well, then it's that much better. I think I saw some ore up here or something, but I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay. There. And yeah, so it's the type of, it was an idea... It was an idea that was, like, given to me by, the same person who was close to me, who is dumb from who I mentioned in the last. I'm having a lot of troubles mapping out my speech process today. Yeah, from the last rambles. She was like, "There's this Sculk," and I felt like she found a cave. And that was like that, where it was just the Sculk, but when it didn't even have a catalyst. And she was like, this would be very popular with, like, the satisfying type of crowd if you could, like, clear one of those. And so that's I went and took that idea while being sick, because that's an easy thing to do while sick. That's weird. That's weird. These one block corridors? Naturally generating one block corridors. And so, like, I'm glad that I was able to have an excuse to do that without just kind of having to release it as a secondary video or as a normal primary video. But I mean, again, there are people who are, I should have torched this. There. You know what? I'll mine the copper. And I keep, like, repeating myself because I keep cutting myself off. This is a lot like the first episode. Clearly, I'm out of practice. I got way better in the second episode, and then after being sick for 4 weeks and not recording anything, I have gotten clearly worse at this again. I am back to where I started in speech ability. I am, I think I'm just gonna move on. Because I'm not... I'm just gonna keep repeating myself if I try to keep going, I think. Deepslate is really pretty. I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but I think Deepslate is a really pretty block texture. And I like the sound it makes when you walk on it as well. When you break it. And, like... all the variants as well of the Deepslate, like the... like the tiles and the bricks and stuff like that, the cobbled Deepslate, all very pretty blocks. Gravel? Gravel? Alright. A torch. Excuse me? That's what I was expecting. Hitboxes on the mobs are weird. That's a great descent. Ah, right. It's a good thing I have my my notepad up here with things I want to talk about. That is the other thing I want to say about the short is that, you know, I'm getting an amount of transphobia in the comments, which isn't too surprising, to be honest. I mean, that's what happens when when you end up with when content that involves... Alright, I'm gonna start with, I don't use the queer flags in my profile or even on my cape, because I like to loudly announce that I'm queer, but because it keeps queerphobes away, because most queerphobes aren't loud, hateful, attacky people, right? Most transphobes are, most transphobes are people who just don't want anything to do with, or queerphobes are people who don't want anything to do with queer people. But when they get served something by YouTube or whatever with loud queer flags, then they feel a little bit attacked because they did not go out of their way, because they specifically go out of their way to not see queer people. And so when they do see, when a trans flag shows up in their face, then they feel attacked and threatened. And that's a diamond, okay. Oh, that's a geo too, okay. I'm trying to figure out how I want to get over there. I think I'm gonna mine to this tough and deep slate, and... yeah, okay. Is that only one block? That is only one block, okay. Can't really see... alright. And because they feel attacked, and they feel need to attack me back. And a lot of it's still like, ooh, wow, that worked out better than I expected it to. Still like soft transphobia, and by that I mean like, I don't have any problem with trans people, I just don't like the ones that shove it in your face and stuff like that. Oh, there's a diamond there too. Ha. And like, it's just like a frustrating experience to have to deal with in terms of gravel. In terms of like, I mean, this is, I understand that to them they don't see it, but this is, you know, about me as a person, right? Like, and it's I don't know, like, part of, like, I could just delete all of it, right? And like, I'm not even really particularly bothered by it. But I indeed could delete all of it. But like, deleting it's more comments means better engagement. How did I get back up there? Oh, okay. Yeah, more comments means better engagement. Better engagement means more views. And so a little bit I need to leave them there and kind of just let other people maybe attack back. Because that's gonna help me get more views. And so, like, as much as I don't like receiving, I don't like having transphobic crap on my in my comment section, I kind of have to leave it there if I want to play the YouTube game, if I want to like grow viewership. And I'm sure there's like a lot of things to be said about that. But I don't think I want to be the one to comment on YouTube's promotion of intolerance today. I don't feel like I'm qualified or good enough at speaking to properly explain how I feel about that. Up there. Oh, for the... Is that everything? Oh, there's some iron I just missed up there. Okay. I think that's all I wanted to say about that video. And so that's also another issue, is that like a little bit I would like to cultivate an audience of queer, non-intolerant people, right? But unfortunately, in order to find those people, I just kind of have to throw myself out into the full ether of all people, including, you know, freaking Nazis. And it's you know, awkward in trying to, you know, because I'm gonna get people who are gonna like subscribe and then realize how heckin' queer I am, right? Because that video doesn't really show me as a personality anyway, and so forth. And you know, now they're gonna be confused. I'm gonna lose subscribers and stuff, and like, that's normal and fine and expected. But like, on the Fedi, basically everyone who isn't on Mastodon.social is a queer anarchist cat girl. Like, that is the entirety of the Fediverse. And so when I'm on the Fediverse, it's really easy to just exist. I have found the surface. Nice. It's kind of nice to be able to, like, I can just throw whatever the hell I want out there and not really have to deal with transphobes and stuff like that. Apart from the occasional, like, loud transphobe type of person, right? Like, you get the Channers and Kiwi Farms type people and so forth. But those are those aren't a very large issue. There's not many of those sorts of people. I don't have to deal with them very often. Once you block most of the instances that are like they're clicky, right? And so if you block the instances of those clicks, then it's not a deal, right? None of them show up basically anymore. And I wish there's like I have PureTube, which is a Fediverse enabled or an activity pub enabled, so and therefore Fediverse video sharing platform. Like I host it on my server, on my own server, and that like it's a cool option, but there's not enough discoverability to actually cultivate an audience really. And in the way it implements ActivityPub isn't super compatible with all the microblocking software either, so things break down and people don't even see the video, and certain accounts can or cannot be followed from certain instances. It's like, theoretically, it would be a good idea, but in practice, I mean, YouTube is the option. What? Who placed those torches? When? What? Oh, wow. Okay, this is the cave from episode 1. I remember that formation that looks like a portal, and I put a torch there because it's like an outhang thing. Okay. And I was talking about hosting my server here. Look at that! It's a tieback! It's an unintentional tieback! Wonderful. Talking about VPNs and hosting my WireGuard VPN right as walking across that. All right, okay. Poggers. There's this apparently entire section out here that I didn't notice, and apparently it's the same cave system. What are you doing? What you doing, huh? Die, stupid creeper. Don't like you explode and then you break my ore and stuff. Is that everything I want to say? I think finally I've reached everything I want to say. At least it didn't explode my iron. I just assumed that creeper's gender. At least they didn't explode my iron. Do creepers have do mobs in Minecraft have gender? I guess everything just kind of has a null, right? But like gender is not a physical aspect, right? Even if everyone hasn't, is gender a thing in Minecraft? Is gender a thing in Minecraft? Mojang, I need you to answer me on this question. Do mobs experience gender identity? And if so, how strongly, and what are their expressive gender characteristics or internally consistent gender characteristics? While I was sick, I also had to deal with. I apparently didn't write this in my notepad. I did not write this in my notepad, apparently, but I actually had to. Someone had re-uploaded my Canada Computer Screwed Me video, hereby referred to as CCSM. That I mean that's an old video. It's like 4 years old. And like they upload it for the purposes of harassment. I don't mind re-uploads for archival purposes. I don't hate re-uploads for archival purposes, but they re-upload it for the purpose of harassing me and making fun of me and calling me names in the comments and description. And the deal is the video is actually just unlisted. And the reason why it's unlisted is just because it doesn't represent where it's a very prototypical Lucy that isn't, you know, that's Lucy v 0.8, 0.9, you know. And it's just not representative of, like, how I produce things anymore. And I mean, there's parts that people didn't understand about the video as well. I didn't express myself very clearly. Clearly, I'm not good at talking, even on a script. That was scripted. But, you know, I've definitely, or at least I wasn't, I've definitely grown. I'm still not great at it, but I've definitely grown. And that's the only reason why it's unlisted now, is just because it's not representative of like, who I am as a person and where I am creatively and as maturity, you know what I'm saying. And so I had to file a YouTube copyright strike. And because they were being an asshole, I filed it as a copyright strike. I didn't do the whole give you 7 days to remove it and we'll do nothing about it. It's like, no, I was like, we will copyright strike you. And they were copyright striked. It was like YouTube, it was 23 hours and 7 minutes after I filed the complaint, YouTube had removed it from the, from YouTube. YouTube had removed that video from YouTube. Which is surprising, because YouTube doesn't do anything within 24 hours, and they did it in 23 hours and 7 minutes. And so that was fun to deal with. That was also, it was like very anxiety-inducing. In that, like, well, there's two things. One, I discovered this. I literally just, like, I went into a private window just so I wasn't logged in. And I searched Nelm 1 in YouTube, and just to see what happens if someone were to look for me specifically on YouTube, what would they get? And that was like the 7th result. And so, like, it's one thing having it be there and having it be harassment, but it's another thing being that it's so high up on the results list that, like, it's encouraging more harassment. I don't know how I want to traverse this currently. I think I'm going to go back up there for now. And so, you know, I did the file and it was dealt with. So that was nice. But they also re-uploaded it. There's also just misinformation in the description, because they said that it was my most edited video on the channel, which it wasn't when they had uploaded it 4 months ago. I had ECCs 4 months ago that were very much more edited. But they had also re-uploaded it to TikTok, and at least there's less harassment involved in the TikTok re-upload. But I'd still rather them, you know, not do that, because the purpose was ultimately harassment. And you know, I've already filed the YouTube copyright strike, so I filed a takedown through TikTok, and it has been more than 2 weeks. I also included my filing with YouTube, where YouTube found in my favor, and it has been more than 2 weeks, and TikTok still has not even responded. I got a confirmation that they received it, and then I imagine it went directly into the digital paper shredder. Which is disappointing. Maybe what I need to do is I need to create a TikTok account and start uploading shorts to TikTok, but I don't want to have to have the TikTok app on my phone, so it's the type of thing where if it's gonna happen, it's gonna have to be done entirely from PC in some way. It's a lot of zombies. And Sweeping Edge isn't really working. I'm gonna die here. No, I'm not. Wonderful. I would like to eat a carrot. That didn't do anything helpful to me, at least. There we are, much better. Whew. Okay, I think I saw some diamond over there. Yes, ooh. Oh, creeper. Stop trying to walk towards my diamond and explode it. So that's what I dealt with while I was sick, was the person who had re-uploaded my my video for the purposes of harassment. Anyway, it is still viewable, unlisted, both on YouTube and Vidly. They also said I re-uploaded it to Vidly after unlisting it from YouTube, which was also not true. They were uploaded in tandem to both platforms simultaneously. Actually, apparently the date is 8 days apart, which is confusing to me. Apparently they were uploaded 8 days apart, but still, same thing. Or at least according to the websites, but whatever, it's fine. It's fine, it's too indie boy. Hey! Hey! Don't walk into my line of sight! So yeah, the video does still exist, but it's just unlisted because it no longer represents who I am as a person or where I am creatively. You know, I'd rather, like, and that's why it's like, if you want to view it, then you can still totally view it. I just want it to be something that you seek out and understand that it's not something I want publicly visible anymore for some reason, and now this reason is publicly available, that it's just no longer relevant to today, to who I am today. And I should retell that story. Actually, maybe I should retell that story right now, because I'm sure I could retell it way better than the CCSM video. And then this can replace the CCSM video. I had purchased a GPU. I had a crappy NVIDIA from a million years ago at the time. It was like a GT 730, right? And so I was upgrading to an RX 550, which was basically the only thing I could afford at the time. An AMD RX 550, and I was going AMD for Linux reasons. If you're a Linux person, you know exactly what I mean. And so it was a Gigabyte. My motherboard at the time was Gigabyte, and so I was like, well, I'll match vendors, just for support purposes, basically. And Gigabyte had this 2 gig RAM RX 550. And Canada Computers they said they had like 2 in stock at the warehouse, 1 in stock in freaking Niagara Falls, and none in my local store. And, you know, I wasn't about to, like, between driving all the way out to Niagara Falls and getting it delivered, the obvious choice was to get it delivered. So I did. I ordered it, and a week later, nothing had happened. It hadn't been, like, it hadn't been shipped. There hadn't been any. And so I call, and I'm like, well, what's the deal? And they're like, well, we don't have any stock. And we're like, but you said you had 2. And they're like, well, I don't trust it. And I'm like, okay, well, when? Right? Like, oh, don't destroy my torch. Right? They're like, well, when? I'm like, well, when will it come back? And they're like, well, call back in a week, and we'll, like, if nothing happens in a week, then we'll do something about it. And so a week later, we call, and we're like, hey, nothing has still happened. And they're like, oh yeah, we're having issues with their supplier, call back in a week. And we're like, fine, I'll call back in a week. So we call back in a week, after nothing happening again. And they go, oh yeah, we don't know if we're ever going to get that in stock. Would you like instead this this Gigabyte RX 480, or whatever? And we're like, no, I want an RX 550. That's what I want. That's what I paid for. It's what I want. And we're like, there's this Asus RX 550 it's like $20 more, and it has 4 gigs of RAM instead, but otherwise it's basically the same card. Substitute that. And I'm like, well, you're gonna have to pay the $20 difference. We're like, no, the fuck I am. Like, you just screwed me around for 3 weeks. I should have had my product in my hands already, you know, 2 weeks ago. And so they're like, okay, fine, we don't normally do this, but because we fucked you around for 3 weeks, then we're gonna We'll cover the 20. Well, they actually end up just making it free shipping or whatever, I think is what they did. They took the money I already had and they removed shipping or whatever, is how they tricked that into working. And so I received it, and there's an issue with that card. It doesn't have a temperature sensor, so the fan just spins at 100% all the time. I still have that card installed to my PC to this day. I use it as my secondary GPU from driving my second monitor and encoding video while I'm recording and streaming. I do have a main GPU that is where is it? So, it's somewhere in here. It says, there it is, RX 550 XT, top right corner-ish, beneath the CPU. It's an RX 550 XT is what I'm using now as my main, but the secondary is the RX 550 or 5500 XT, and what I'm using is the 550 for encoding and stuff like that. And oh, I ran out of torches. Been using a lot of them today, clearly. Not even recording for... Oh, okay, it's just over half an hour. And... right. And so yeah, it's still use that graphics card, but I literally just ripped the fan out. It has a heatsink underneath where the fan should be. So I just got angry at the fan running at 100% speed, and I wasn't about to, like, surface mount, solder, temperature controller circuitry based on guesses of what's supposed to be where. I must have mined that out at some point and not placed a torch. No, this is a completely torchless area. Never mind. Weird. And that's the story. The Gigabyte one did have a temperature controller, so I'm annoyed about that. Even if I did end up with 2 more gigs of VRAM. Yeah, I literally just ripped the fan out. So it's still in my computer, but it's like... I literally don't notice the difference in thermals between having the fan and not having the fan. Genuinely. At least for my purposes, my uses. A lot of exploration, not a lot of ore. Aha! Diamantes! So that's the story. That's the CCSM story. And I got comments that were like, you know, why being lazy, just go to the store, because I didn't explain that. There wasn't any stock in my store. And so forth. But, you know, like, there's... I managed to get the same story out in probably roughly the same amount of time as the original video that wasn't as well written as what I just said, which was not written at all. Although a little bit this version of the story is kind of the story of the story of the story, as in I've told the story so many times that, like, no. Nuh-uh. Excuse me? I told the story so many times that, that I no longer really remember what happened. I just remember how to tell the story, if that makes sense. Well, I'll put this right at the corner then. And so I don't like to touch canned computers, especially for shipping. I don't like to touch canned computers all that much anymore. I mean, Newegg sucks too. They didn't really screw me, but I've had experiences with Newegg trying to make a purchase with a credit card. So you can't buy PC components from anybody, is what I'm saying. Well, it doesn't need to. How about it can go up there instead? Yeah. I should put a... there. Go away. I don't know, like, this is a really complicated cave system, and because there's, like, it's really kind of open, I'm, like, really lost. Bunch of creepers. Don't want to really go over there, actually, now that I've realized there's a bunch of creepers. It's not much better. Not much better. Excuse me? Come here. Come here. I dare you, come here! Alright. Oh, I'm back here again. Already been here. Yeah, blow up this section. Make it easier to traverse. What are all these creepers doing? How did that not blow up the torch? Is that everything I had? Yes. Yes. Alright. Well, that's good. Been down there, apparently. Did I place that bucket? I probably did place that bucket. I don't remember this area very well, if I have been down here. I mean, clearly I have, because there's torches. I don't know when I would have been down here. Oh, for the... Freaking glowing sacks just, like, ejected themselves from that squid. I have notes, and, like, the notes have gotten pretty big over the past 4 weeks of me not recording anything. A video was released recently-ish. I don't remember by whom. I'll include it in the description and on YouTube as an iCard. About this occurrence called the hum. And I indeed did hear the hum once. I actually, there's a survey for people who heard the hum through this person that I found out through the Fediverse. Oh. Okay. And it was like, I was lying in bed and I was up late. It was, summer, I think. Yeah, and I was lying in bed and I hear this ominous, really low hum. And it's like, it's driving me, it sounds like it's coming from inside me. And it's driving me insane. And eventually I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna leave my room and hope that I'm not hearing it there. And I did. When I left my room, I couldn't hear it anymore. And I actually did manage to record it, but I don't know if I can recover the recording because it's on a dead laptop. I should... Alright, it doesn't work for when it's in physics. I should try to recover it one day. It didn't record very well. You have to crank up the volume really high in order to hear it, but it's there. And you can see it in the waveform as well. And it was interesting to hear that, like, this was in fact a thing that other people do experience. And that's the only time I've ever heard the hum. And I think it was one of two things. Either it was something to do with, I have 2 sets of, like, horizontal slider windows. So it could be something about those windows being used as a resonant chamber with wind, or I also have pipes that run through the wall next to my room, so it could have been something about those pipes probably it was the pipes resonating. After watching the video that was released, that I'm referring to, that I don't remember by whom or what it's called. Someone shoot at me? Or did I just take fall damage? But yes, I did hear the hum, and I just wanted to mention that I am indeed someone who has heard a hum. Oh, someone did shoot at me. Don't know where from. Someone did shoot at me. That did happen. Oh! Hey! Hey, more cave. Hey, dead end. I need to, like, check off what I talked about. I think the last thing I'm gonna talk about is, about the rambling itself, is that I have ADHD, and I basically, part of what I do is I ramble to myself, and I rationalize in my internal monologue and so forth, or even I'll just, like, random use information, like, all the time. And it helps with committing stuff to memory, like what I've done in a day. It helps me keep logs of that. But also it just helps in, like, keeping me focused by... I have one thing that I am consciously focused on instead of letting my brain focus on whatever it wants to focus on. Just mine this redstone. And it's like... definitely makes probably doing this rambling easier for me than it is for maybe some other people who, like, aren't constantly internal monologuing at themselves. And that's basically all I'm doing, is I'm taking that internal monologue and I'm externally it. I'm just, like, I'm piping, instead of standard out being my internal monologue, standard out is set to mouth. Instead of dev internal monologue, it's dev mouth. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to mention, because it's not on here. I wrote a browser extension. I'm gonna keep it mostly short because I don't want to talk about the technical details, and it's like, it's the type of thing where if you know what I'm... if you'll know if you need it, and if you don't know what I'm saying at all, then you won't know then you won't need it. It's a browser extension that when you double click, or when you select a hex code, hexadecimal color code, it just shows a little swatch underneath your cursor and the RGBA values of that hex code. And I'll leave a link to that. It's available only for Firefox and WaterFox and LibreWolf and so forth. I'll leave that link to that in the description as well. The reason why it's not available for Chrome, well, two things. One, to submit to the Chrome Web Store, you actually have to pay $5 to Google, and I ain't about to do that. I'm too broke for that. But also because they're no longer supporting Manifest v2, they're no longer accepting Manifest v2 extensions. Manifest v2 extensions will stop working in June. I don't like Manifest v2. There's political reasons to not like Manifest v2. I don't want to get into them, but if you want to hear more, then maybe ask in the comments or just do research yourself. I don't know. If you know what Manifest v2 and Manifest v3 mean, and you want to work on Chrome, it is open source. It is licensed under BSD 3 clause. The 3 clause BSD license, I mean. And so you can totally make it work. Like, it doesn't use anything that isn't supported in Manifest v3. It's just that, you know, I don't want to support Manifest v3 because Manifest v3 is screw Manifest v3. And it's in of course in JavaScript, and I hate JavaScript. I don't like programming in JavaScript. Never want to touch JavaScript. I've been here. I have. There. Alright. I'm just gonna kill myself and go home and add up now. Because I'm going in circles and I'm lost and I'm confused. It's a lot of diamonds. I'm gonna use one of these 18 glowing sacks for the there we are. I can make diamond blocks too. Alright, beautiful. 3 blocks of diamond. It's better than yesterday, or you know what I'm saying. Ramble. I like how we have a rock called Tough that's actually like really soft. Like in real life, Tough is a real rock. And it's really soft. Wow, that's packed. I have to start double chesting these. Probably should have double chested these from the beginning. Does that go on the... Oh, it should... What? What? I think I just duplicated a bucket. I just duplicated a bucket. I just duplicated a lava bucket. How did that happen? No, I had another bucket in my inventory because of, because that should contain water. Right, okay. Okay. Perfectly round number of blocks of copper. It's the final iron. Beautiful. And that is our haul. Which is a lot of iron. Actually, is it a lot of iron? Just in comparison to the last, it's a lot of iron. Not a lot of copper, because I didn't really want to mine coppers. Not a whole lot of gold, since I didn't really want to mine gold. Not that much lapis. A lot of diamonds, though. And a lot more of those glowing sacks. I've literally been using these glowing sacks for the... But then I used the new ones for this one today. So we have enough glowing sacks, at least, for the next... it would be this one, and then I guess it'll go this way, or will it go that way? I don't know, we'll see.